Alright, hi folks. Joshua Michael here with Berakah Yard and Landscaping. Today I'm going to take you on a little tour of my garden and also talk a little bit about the upcoming videos that we got coming up on the website and on YouTube. Okay? So let's get started. Alright, so this is my herb garden, and this is Italian oregano, and you'll see there's a border here. That border is my raised garden, and I don't have it filled to the top of the board. This year I'm just doing about 1 inch to 2 inches below the tip of the edge of the border there, as you can see. So this is my Italian oregano, and behind that I have some peppers that I've got in pots growing. I'm kind of doing an experiment I'm kind of drifting away from using the Miracle-Gro stuff because I don't think it's actually good for your plants. But I'm doing an experiment with my peppers. So, and then I've got some lilies there, and then some dill weed, and that's more of my herbs. And then this little bitty stuff here, that is thyme. Okay. And then I have some parsley and some cilantro. We love cilantro in this family. All right. And then I have some chocolate mint. I love chocolate mint in my tea, so had to do some chocolate mint. And then I've got 4 rosemary plants back there, and then I'm going to probably transplant the big one into another space. So I'm going to probably have to build another raised garden bed here. And then in the back there is some basil, and that was all this stuff was planted from seed. And you'll notice that I don't have exposed soil in my garden beds. This is because I'm employing a type of gardening called Back to Eden method, where we use wood chips and mulch and organic material mixed together to create a covering for the soil. And the plants seem to actually love it. This method was discovered or given to a guy named John Gauchi and Paul Gauchi. And I tried it this year, and it's been absolutely, my garden has absolutely thrived. So here's the vegetable garden. In the back we have avocado. That's an avocado plant. Those I believe are lemon, and the 2 taller ones are orange, and then next to it is another avocado, and you'll see way down there in that big pot, that's another avocado plant. So okay, so here I've got some bare soil here. This is bare and going to be a space for the exotic plants I told you I have coming. This green stuff here is lettuce, obviously, and I eat this stuff right out of the garden. It is so good. If you want to rinse it off, you can. We've been having a lot of rain, so I've just gone out, grabbed it, shook it off, and ate it. It's really, really good. Right here, I've got some beans that are going to grow, and I'm going to put in another trellis. I'll show you my other bean trellis here in a minute. So, and these are my garlic. I have 1 row right now. I'm going to plant 2 more rows on either, or 1 more row on either side of it. So total of 3 rows are going in. And then I've got this bare patch here. That's going to be another space for those more exotic plants. I've got some chocolate peppers coming in, and some royal purple peppers, and we've got some Sicilian purple cauliflower that's coming in, and some Brussels sprouts, and some really, really good stuff. So anyway, this is my kale, and I've got some purple kale and some scarlet kale that's also coming in. So that's all going to be planted right here. And then these are collards. Those are my collards. I've never been able to get my collards to grow this big, or my kale for that matter. And I've got to give credit to the soil. It seems to just thrive in this condition, in this type of soil. So I love it. And these are 2 blank spots. And then I had a bit of an accident here. I had some bell peppers here, and in the back you'll see some baby plants coming up. 2 baby plants. And I had some, and then I believe it was some aphids that just kind of ate them away. Now that was before I had this compost material, this soil material here in the ground. And then when I put that down, it seems to keep a lot of the bugs away, most of them anyway. All right, and then the big plant in the back is my poblano pepper. Again, I had multiple poblano peppers, and these 2 here were poblano peppers, and again, before the wood chips were there, I had some aphids or some bugs come in, and they chopped off the tops of those plants. Now what's funny is, if you can see, down there, you can see where it was cut off. And I almost pulled them, and I felt, you know what, we're not gonna, you'll see that that's cut off. Those white spots are where the bugs cut the plants. And I just felt like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave them and see what happens. And sure enough, they grew and they sprouted more arms and limbs and more leaves, and which has been phenomenally awesome. And they seem to be doing really good, and they're coming back. So I'm just gonna leave them and let them go. This was a row for jalapeno peppers, and the jalapenos, again, the bugs came through before I had the compost material here, and kind of killed them. So we put the compost material down, and we're going to replant them here in a little bit. Not today, but probably in a couple of days after they're growing better in the house, and then I'm going to transplant them out here. And that is one serrano plant. I had 3 serrano plants, and the same thing with the bugs, and I had some over there is some my space for cayenne. And so this has been a lesson to me in composting, and I'm a big proponent now of composting wood chips. The wood chips break down and create a nice carbon and nitrogen soil, and so they also keep the weeds down. You'll see I have very little weeds in my garden here. Part of that I have to give credit to is due to the wood chips acting as a layer and killing off all the weeds. Now before I had put this down, this thing was full of weeds. So you can see I laid down some newspaper. That's right there. You'll see some newspaper there. I laid down some newspaper, and then I threw the wood chips on top of it, and it suffocates the weeds and has just been phenomenal. And the paper then just breaks down into compost and breaks it back down into the ground and helps feed the ground. So you'll notice also I have a water hose. Now that's a soaker hose. With this type of compost, you really don't need to water, but I put the soaker hose out in case for some reason it needs it. I've got it there. I haven't, as of yet, really used it. I used it once to wet down the soil when I first laid the compost, and then 3 days later it rained. So I'm not messing with that again. This type of compost holds in moisture very, very well. And so because it does, the nice thing about wood chips and compost is you don't have to water your garden as much, or hardly at all actually, which is another test I'm going to be doing this year. So anyway, that's my garden. That's my herb garden. And then over here, for upcoming videos, oh, I'm sorry, I missed this. Here's my trellis. This is my bean trellis. We have, down here, we have, what are the, sugar snap peas are down there. They haven't really started to grow yet. Oh, that's grass. Let's pull that out of there. Yeah, that's all grass. There. Okay. So anyway, we got some sugar snap peas there, and over there I had some California beans. So that's what I got going on. That's my avocado tree. Now, at some point, I'm going to do another video for you guys, and we're going to show you how to put together the border for a raised garden bed. And this ground, the other thing with the wood chips and compost is you really don't need to till up the ground. I may do it just to level off this ground, but not to treat the soil, but just to level off the dirt again. And then I'll go and add my wood chips in my composting. But I'm going to do a whole series on building a raised garden bed, and we'll do it step by step so you guys can see how I do it. So that's my garden. I hope you guys have enjoyed this this little walkthrough of my garden, my herb garden. See you next time.